Have you ever wondered how to brand the glass on your storefront? Perhaps you have a retail outlet where you need to put in your scope of services or your product images. Or maybe you have looked at a departmental store where they have these huge facades of glass branded with product images, with sales offers, discount offers, and pricing offers. And if you ever wondered how this was done, we have a very clever product called glass film prints to do this. Now, if you look at any office or any commercial space, the vertical glass partitions in that space provide a lot of scope for branding that particular place. We can put in your company logos, your corporate colors, your mission and vision statements, and just about anything on those glass partitions to do two things: to communicate your content to your clients and to beautify your office interiors. In this video, we are going to be discussing the various types of glass film prints and stickers that you can use to brand your office workspaces. We'll be talking about the pros and cons of these different types of films. To get started, you need to understand that we have mainly five different types of glass film prints. One is transparent glass stickers. Two, frosted film prints. Three, opaque films. Four, reverse printable films. And five, which I'm sure you must have seen in a whole lot of commercial places, one-way vision films for printing. We will also be discussing the production processes of how these prints happen in a printer's shop. We'll be talking about the prices for the same. Now, I want you to wait until the end of this video because I'm going to be discussing two beautiful tips in how to brand your office using these films. Now, before we start talking about the various types of films that are available at a printer's place, you need to understand one thing. These are prints which are films. They have an adhesive back and they get pasted on your glass panel. We are not talking about printing directly on your glass panel. There is this big difference. We also have a technology to print on slabs of glass and panels of glass directly, but that's not the subject matter of this video. We're talking about films which have varying levels of transparency. For example, as I said, a transparent film allows you to see in and out. We have films having varying levels of transparency to address different applications. The best thing about films is that they are extremely economical. They don't cost much. And the other good thing about this film is that it allows rollback. By this, I mean that if you're done using a print, let's assume that you are in a rented space and you have to vacate your office after 2 or 3 years. You simply peel off these stickers. They're stickers, right? You simply peel off these films and your glass is restored to its original state. Of all the types of glass film prints available in the market, perhaps transparent films are the most easiest to understand. And as the name suggests, and as you can see from these two panels, the panel on which the film is pasted is transparent. You can use these films to print logos, company colors, product images, and everything. And what happens in transparent film prints is the viewer from the outside can look on the inside. So he sees what's happening on the other side of the partition, and me from the other side. So I can see from inside. If I'm standing on the inside of the office, I can see what's happening on the road sides. Everything about this film is transparent. You need to remember that not only is the non-image area where there are no inks, not only is the non-image area transparent, but even these inks, can you see where I have placed my hand out here? You can make out my hand, maybe not very clearly, but you can make out my hand to see that you can see through the inks and see my hand as well. Now at Orchid Digitals, we have a very unique product which is not generally available at other print service providers. We have a film which is totally transparent, the non-image area as well as the image area. But we also have a film which is partially transparent and partially opaque. If you look at this particular panel out here, you will see that the logo is opaque, whereas the non-image area where there are no inks applied on the film are transparent. So you got the best of both the worlds. You get a print which is partially transparent and partially opaque. How is this achieved? This is achieved by a technique called white layering or white ink printing. What we do is, on certain areas of the print, we have these white inks which are the lower layer of the inks. So we have a first layer of white inks which are totally opaque. Okay, and then we layer your colored inks on top of them. What happens is the white portion of the print makes the print opaque, and when you place the inks on top of it, you cannot see through the printed area, but you can also see through the transparent area. Frosted glass film prints. This is another option that you can consider to brand your glass panels. And as the name suggests, these frosted films have a kind of sanded, dusty look, which makes the prints on them look exceedingly beautiful. Frosted film prints provides two important things that the transparent film did not give for you. It protects your privacy. By this I mean that you cannot really see what's happening on the other side of the panel. I mean, yes, you can make out a vague humanoid shape standing behind the glass partition, but you cannot really see the details like you could in the transparent films. The other thing, so the frosted films protect your privacy, that's the first thing. But in my opinion, the second and more important thing about these films is that it allows natural light to pass through, which is very important in any commercial environment. As you can see from this print, it will stop your vision, but it will still allow light to pass through. It will not darken your environments. It will not darken your office. Now at Orchid Digitals, we have two types of frosted film prints. One is the regular frosted print, which has a dusty effect. And the other is the one that I'm holding in my hand, that is this glitter frosted film. I don't know if the camera can catch it, but the glitter film has got these small flecks of gold and silver embedded in it. And when you print this print on a larger 8-foot or 5-foot sized glass panel, these flecks of gold look exceedingly beautiful. Our next type of print is one-way vision film prints. This is a very unique and clever solution, and I really want you to pay particular attention to this particular film. One-way vision, as the name suggests, converts your glass panel into a privacy panel. It's great for branding, so you can show your product images and your content on the front side. A casual visitor or a client standing on the road is going to be looking at this image. But as I said, this film is one way only. What happens is, when you're looking at this image, you are looking at the print. You're looking at the image out here. But when I'm standing behind this film, a little bit of magic happens. When I am standing behind, now you're standing behind the panel, is you can see through this film and see what's happening on the other side of the panel. And this is great for offices. This is great for privacy, wherein you have a boss's cabin who wants to keep an eye on what's happening on the outside, or where you do advertising on a supermarket front. People inside the supermarket want to see outside, but people on the outside can only see the products that are being advertised. Now, if you're wondering how one-way vision film prints work, let me tell you, it's not magic. One-way vision is also known as a mesh film. And if you look closely out here, this print has got thousands of tiny pinholes inside it. It's kind of a mesh pasted on the glass panel. And what this does is, it tricks your brain into recreating an image. When you're looking at the printed side of one-way vision prints, your brain is taking all the discrete information of this image and recreating that image for you. But when you're behind the one-way vision film, there is no image for your brain to focus on. What's happening is, your eye is now gathering data from each of these pinholes, and it is recreating that image. So the image that is behind the pinholes is being recreated in your brain. And this is how one-way vision films work. We now come to our next type of print for glass panels, and that is opaque glass film prints. And it's pretty easy to understand, the name says it all. This print is opaque. The person standing outside cannot see inside, but at the same time, the person standing inside cannot see outside. Okay? Where would you use opaque films is when you have a lot of detail in your communication. What happens is, when you have a transparent film print, and if you have too much detailing, like these small fonts and small logos out here, okay, they don't really stand out in a transparent film print. But if you have to give or deliver a lot of content, you can consider using opaque film prints for your particular application. The other application is where you do not cover the entire surface of the glass panel. So for one-way vision, for transparent films, you can go ahead and cover the panel from the top to the bottom. But in opaque films, you would leave out some portion. So you would create something like a poster which does not cover your entire panel. And this will get the job done wonderfully. Reverse pastable glass film prints. I don't even know if pastable is a correct grammatic word for it, but I don't know of any other term to describe this particular film. You see, all films have an adhesive on the back, and it gets pasted on the front face of the glass panel. But this particular film has adhesive on the front face, on the printed area, on the area where the inks or the images are reproduced. And this print gets pasted from inside the glass panel. One example for you to understand this is your car parking sticker. Your car parking sticker is generally pasted from the inside of the windscreen. You might be wondering why reverse pastable films are an option that we provide at Orchid Digitals. Reverse pastable prints provide two important features that are not available in the other films. One is, when you paste a film from the inside, now I'm going to slightly tilt this such that the camera can catch this light. When you paste the films from the inside, you can see the glossy glass-like back-painted effect that you will generally get only from glass. Okay, the print doesn't come in the way, because if the print was on top, you would get a matte finish. But this glossy, rich effect of glass can be achieved by reverse pastable films. The other reason why I would use a reverse pastable film is if I were to brand the window in an office on a tall building. Let's assume that you have an office on the 7th floor of a building. You have a huge glass facade. How am I going to reach the outside of that office building? I would probably require a crane, or maybe employ the services of Spider-Man. I don't know. But the best thing to do would be to go inside the office on the 7th floor, paste the film from the inside such that it is visible from the roadside. At Orchid Digitals, we don't produce individual images on glass. We take your job and reproduce glass film prints on large rolls of vinyl or large, huge rolls. The best example to understand this would be a roll that you see in a garment store. We have these 4-5 feet huge rolls which are loaded onto our high resolution wide format printers, and we reproduce these images on that particular film. Why am I saying this? Our printers are extremely high resolution. You will get jaw-dropping print quality. Number one. Number two, our prints are weatherproof and waterproof. They are meant for outdoor use. They're not going to fade in the sunlight. In fact, our UV printable films are even scratch resistant. Everyday daily wear and tear is not going to degrade these films. Now, if you remember, I told you that I'm going to be sharing a bonus tip on one more type of glass film print that is just not available everywhere. It is a product pretty unique to Orchid Digitals, and I have seen a whole lot of architects and interior designers too who are not aware of this option. I'm talking about white ink prints. White ink is a pretty nascent technology, but we already have it out here in Orchid Digitals. The thing is, every printer or print shop bureau is going to give you a print in the standard CMYK format. CMYK is great for when it comes to reproducing images in any color that you want. But what happens if you want an ink or in simple vanilla white? We have for you white ink prints for glass. Here what we do is we use a transparent film, okay, and we use a specialized white ink layering technique to create an image where the inked area is opaque. So I have a black shirt behind this film. You'll probably see that you cannot make out my black color behind the inked area, but the rest of the image area is transparent. White inks look extremely graceful. They look extremely premier. You get a nice tinted glass effect with your logo in a very strong contrast white. White ink prints allow for one very cool effect. White inks allow us to multi-layer a particular job. And if you don't understand what I mean, I want you to have a look at these two prints. We have a red and a blue colored car, but that's not the way these cars are made. This is actually one print which is red on one side and blue on the other. And this is not a back-to-back print either. This is the same film. We have one film. This part is transparent, the non-image area is transparent. I have layered a red ink on the front face of the film. Then I have put in a layer of white to make the red part opaque, and on the exact same area I have put in a blue layer of the film. And this, as I told you, gives you a very cool effect for branding two different things on two different sides of the glass. One color here, the other color here, one content here, maybe some other content out here. Hey guys, what did you think about this video of the different types of glass film prints that I have explained out here? Did you like the white ink technology? Maybe the one-way vision works for you. Or perhaps you can think of using an opaque film to brand your workspace. Please do not forget to tell me if you like this particular video, and as always, please hit the subscribe button. It will keep you posted about all the various videos that we post on printing and on educational and interesting projects like this.